welcome to Tales from the World's Firesides. I'm Clive Gilson, a.k.a. the Story Guy, and I'm glad you're here. Today we're diving into a classic English folktale called The Baker's Daughter. This little gem comes straight from my collection Tales from the Land of Hope and Glory, where I've handpicked, edited and adapted some of the finest English folk and fairy tales just for readers like you. Now, I've adapted this story slightly for YouTube and for Facebook, so get comfy and let's jump into the magic together. A long time ago, so long that no one can say exactly when, there was a baker in a town in Herefordshire. He supplied bread to the townspeople, but he was a greedy and dishonest man, always looking for ways to make more money, even if it meant cheating his customers. His daughter lived with him and worked in the bakery, as she was unmarried. Over time, she watched how her father tricked people and saw how his deceit brought him wealth. Eventually, she began to follow in his footsteps, adopting the same dishonest ways. One day, while her father was away, the baker's daughter was alone in the shop when an old woman walked in. "Oh, my dear girl," the woman said, "please spare me a bit of dough. I'm old and hungry." At first, the girl dismissed her, telling her to leave, but the old woman persisted, pleading even more desperately for something to eat. Eventually, the baker's daughter grabbed a small piece of dough and handed it over. "There, take it and go," she said impatiently. "Stop bothering me." The old woman took the dough, but then asked, "Oh, my dear, since you've given me this dough, may I bake it in your oven? I have no place of my own to do so." The girl sighed and agreed. "Fine," she said, taking the dough and placing it in the oven while the old woman sat down to wait. When the girl thought the bread should be ready, she opened the oven, expecting to find a small cake, but to her surprise there was a large, perfectly baked loaf there instead. Confused, she pretended to search the oven. "Strange," she said, "I can't find the cake. It must have fallen into the fire and burned." The old woman, unfazed, replied, "Well, that's a shame. Give me another piece of dough and I'll wait while that one bakes." The girl, growing impatient now, took an even smaller piece of dough than before and placed it in the oven. A few minutes later, when she checked again, another loaf had formed, this one even larger than the first. "How odd," the girl said, feigning confusion. "I seem to have lost the dough again. There's no cake here." The old woman sighed. "Oh, what a pity. But no matter. I'll wait again." Now quite irritated, the girl took a piece of dough no bigger than her finger and put it in the oven. When she checked once more, she found yet another loaf, bigger than either of the previous ones. "Well, that one is mine," the old woman said firmly. "No, no, it's not," the girl snapped. "How could such a big loaf come from such a tiny piece of dough?" "Oh, it belongs to me, without a doubt," the woman insisted. "It does not," the girl argued, "and you're not getting it." The old woman, now watching the girl's dishonesty unfold, smiled knowingly. She was no ordinary woman, of course. She was a fairy, and she had seen every trick, every lie, and every selfish act. Without another word, she reached beneath her cloak and pulled out a small wooden stick. With a swift touch, she tapped the girl lightly on the shoulder. In an instant, something incredible happened. The girl began to change. Her body shrank, her arms became wings, and her eyes grew wide with fright. She let out a startled cry, but it wasn't a human voice anymore. It was the hoot of an owl. Panicked, she flapped her wings wildly, flying around the room in confusion. Then, spotting the open door, she darted outside and disappeared into the night. And from that day forward, no one ever saw the baker's daughter again. But if you listen closely in the quiet of the evening, you might just hear the mournful call of an owl, a reminder of the girl who let greed lead her to an unexpected fate. And that's a wrap on today's story. This little gem, as I say, comes from the English edition from a book originally called Folklore and Legends of the English by Charles John Tibbins. Now, I absolutely love breathing life into these old tales, especially for folks who might never have stumbled across them otherwise. Stories like these, I think, connect us across time, cultures and generations, and they help to make the world just a little bit more magical. Now, if you've enjoyed this story and want to find out more about folklore and folk tales, you can check out my books at the link in the main text, or you can go to Amazon and Barnes & Noble or any good online bookstores and just search my name. If you want to dive even deeper into the Tales from the World's Firesides project, or just find out more about me, Clive Gilson, the story guy, then head over to clivegilson.com. Before you go, please don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps more people discover these stories. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then what are you waiting for? I drop fresh stories pretty much every week, so make sure you don't miss out. And there's well over 100 stories up now. That's all for now, though. So until next time, keep reading, keep listening, and stay inspired. Take care.